how can I not think of my father, who came over here over the winter of 1715 to 1716. A young French boy, all by himself, smuggled out by family because he was a Huguenot, a French Protestant. And King Louis XIV had abolished the right to practice as a Protestant in France, whereas before they had been able to. So father made his escape from France to Guernsey, and then finally landing in Boston, apprenticing for John Coney as a young lad. He learned well. Fathers, any of you have one of my father's silver pieces? His work is renowned. Yet, father had trouble when Mr. Coney passed away, and father bought out his apprenticeship and opened his own shop. He had trouble with business. Why, do you think? The old Puritans always kind of looked harshly at French Protestants, Huguenots in Boston. And it did not help that father's name at the time was Paul Revere. Imagine a Yankee in Boston trying to say that. Well, after a while, with his own shop, father changed his name. Who can tell me what father changed his name to? Paul Revere. So my son is Paul Jr. He's actually Paul III. And then I was born. After father got married to Deborah Hitchborn, I was the second child, the first boy. At the end of 1734, and I gained a grammar school education at the North Riding School. Knew I was not going to Harvard. I was a tradesman's son. But not just any tradesman, a master goldsmith. Now, in those days, and perhaps still today, I would imagine, we were of the middling sort. Certainly not the aristocrats and not the poor, but we were of the middling sort, but of trades. Though we worked with silver, the title was master goldsmith. It was the best profession to be in, of the middling sort. The worst would be cordwainers, makers of shoes and such, and those that worked along the docks. So it was the upper part of the middling sort, if that makes sense. Well, father eventually passed away. I had gained my education, I had apprenticed for him, and I took over his trade. And of course, because of his background, I took over his good name and little else. But mother assured that I was properly trained, and I took over the shop, and 3 years later, I was married to my first wife, Sarah. Good that you were all sitting. Sarah brought me 8 children. And I lost Sarah after she gave birth to Isana, who I would also lose, in 1773, before the destruction of the tea. Lucky for me, though, I would meet my wife of now, Rachel Walker Revere. I love her dearly, and though husbands and wives don't tales out of the house, I did write her a bit of a love letter. The dear one nearest my heart, I wrote to her. And we were married, and she, since that time, has brought forth 8 more children. A number of them, about 5 or so, perished as youngsters, and 5 have also perished as adults. But we had a house full of children.